I hit this. Nope. I hit that, and I'm not sure why. No, very good. Thank you. All right, awesome. All right, very good. Hi, everybody. Hope you're doing well. If you could let me know if you can hear me okay, let Paul know. I'll go ahead and get started. Hi, Terry. Hi, Francesca. Thank you. Very good. Mindy, Carrie, Alice, Unicorn, Bernadette. Okay, good to see you guys. So we are going to let a few people tune in here, and I'm going to talk about a couple of the upcoming free mini classes. However, you guys can start posting your questions. Paul, how are you?
Very lovely, thank you. How are you tonight?
I'm good.
Very good.
So my lovely producer over here, Paul, will be taking your questions, and he does appreciate if you could include names, as do I. So does Spirit. We try to get to everyone's questions in 3 minutes or less, and that gets really tricky when they're vague questions or when you're not including names of someone that you are specifically referring to. So this could be your pets if you're asking about them living or deceased, your loved ones, a relationship that you're in. Also, a lot of people due to the pandemic are dealing with job change right now, and a lot of people are launching their own businesses. Please include the name. If you're not comfortable posting the name, post the initials. All right. Did I forget anything?
No, I think you're doing awesome.
Okay. So we're going to let some people tune in here. I do want to say next Ask Ivy here, where I take your personal questions, going to be Monday nights. We're staying with Monday nights here for now. So 9 p.m. Eastern, and we have free mini classes coming up as a part of the quarantine series. So when the pandemic hit and we all went into quarantine, I started these free classes, and I'll do 1 or 2 per week. Some of the ones that we have coming up. Okay, so this one's a little tough. This is Our Fear of Dying. This is going to be Thursday, September 10th at 9 p.m. I'm actually excited about it, but if you have a lot of reservations about death, as we all do, or if you have fear, some people are quite literally traumatized, by this idea, and it creates anxiety disorders and things like this. You may not even have it about your own passing as much as you do the passing of someone else in your circle that you love a lot. So I'm going to help you with the death process, whether you are sort of playing the death doula end of it, almost like a hospice worker, or this is some fear you have about your own self. We also have coming up on Thursday, September 17th at 9 p.m., Empaths and the Pandemic. Anyone who has empathic ability, especially to the 3rd and the 4th degrees, you would be noticing that this pandemic has changed things for you a lot. And then we had George Floyd, and then we had Elijah, and then we have Blake. And when we see things like the racial injustice, we are getting even more activated than what we had been. So it isn't just one simple thing going on. It's not just the pandemic, although that did set it off. There's a lot happening right now for empaths especially. There's a lot happening right now for light workers who have been called to this earth to heal others. And this class is going to help you to organize what is what. And for those of you who've been feeling really great throughout the pandemic, just because you haven't had to go to work or be around other people, maybe all of your disorders have miraculously disappeared. Why has that happened? No more anxiety? No more depression? We're going to look at that. We also have coming up Intro to Numerology with Danny Johnson, our numerology teacher here at the Ivy League Psychic Academy. This is an intro free mini class with Q&A. I'll be doing it alongside her. Talking about the symbology, the numbers, what they mean, why they follow you, how sometimes they are connected to angels and sometimes it's a little bit different than that. It's more connected to past life information, and this is a precursor to a full 4-week program that's coming up for numerology class. When does that start?
That starts September 24th.
So September 24th is the 4-week class, all through Zoom. And Sunday, September 20th at 8 p.m., this one's a little bit different, is the free mini class, Intro to Numerology. Okay, one more, and then we're going to go ahead and get to questions. If you guys have not already, post your questions in the comments. Paul's going to be taking them. We also have Speak Up, Your Fear of Speaking Out, coming up Tuesday, October 6th at 8:30 p.m. You start to see a little bit of a change here as the sun is going down earlier. I'm going to be doing these things a little bit earlier. So if you have trouble speaking up for yourself or speaking out for what you want or believe in, even if your heart is fully in it, I'm going to help you through that process. I don't seem to have a ton of trouble with that, okay? But we're going to look at things that are great motivators for you to keep in mind that have more to do with your purpose here on earth, okay? That'll push you right into speaking out when you need to. All right. So let's go ahead. If we have some coming in here.
Oh, boy, howdy.
Okay, very good. Oh, I also wanted to say, and I have to do my intro real quick, but your horoscopes are going up tomorrow afternoon, so like around 1:30, 2 o'clock. If you have not already done so, please do subscribe and hit that bell for alerts for when your horoscopes go up or when I go live. Much appreciated. Also, for the free mini classes, the horoscopes, things like this, if you guys would like to leave a donation, you can do that at ivyrivera.psychicmedium.com. That link is above. And I do appreciate very much everyone who has been leaving the donations. We see you, and we are grateful. Are we ready? I'll do my intro.
Yes.
Okay. So welcome, everyone. This is Ask Ivy, where I take your personal questions. I'm Ivy Rivera. I'm a psychic medium and a Taino Arawak. And I run a school called the Ivy League Psychic Academy, where I train people in psychic mediumship development, numerology, astrology, Reiki, tarot, you name it, we do it. It is now an international school, 100% virtual and online. If you are interested in the psychic mediumship course, it starts October 7th, and even though it is online, seating is limited for that. So go ahead and register yourself. What I do here is not a gift. This is an ability that everybody has. It's just a lost language. So hope to see you there. All right, Polly, we want to get into it?
We do. First off, A. Black, it said that your horoscopes last week were, for Pisces, really hit home, and thank you.
Oh, wonderful.
Yeah, that's great.
Yeah, that's great feedback. Thank you. I'm glad.
And we have one from Kanan Singh, who is so excited to be present here tonight. So I think we'll start with her question.
Okay, wonderful.
She asks, and that's Kanan, K-A-N-A-N.
K-A-N-E-N.
A-N.
A-N.
Yep.
Okay.
What is Ola in my life? I feel like he is my soulmate, and I want to see what our future is together and possible time frame.
Well, I'm hearing 4 years, so we're talking about 4 years in, you having a better understanding, according to your relationship guide, what the nature of the relationship is in regards to North Node connection. So if we were to look at like Vedic or Western astrology, I believe they both talk about North Node. I know Western does. It's interesting to watch two soulmates come together because while that's romantic, if we're talking about a romantic partnership, soulmates can be anything, any kind of bond, siblings, friends. And when we look at that, I know that even though we're talking about romance, we're also talking about a work contract, always a work contract with soulmates. And when we look at a romantic partnership and soulmate connection, what I would really like to see for my clients is that they also have a North Node in their astrology. So Christina Del Rey, our astrologer here at the Academy, would be able to do something called a synergy chart for you, where she could validate that you have North Node. And what that's going to mean is that you don't just have South Node connection, which is like past life stuff. You also have a purpose in coming together and doing a certain kind of work. Now, that's not going to fully be shown to you until the 4th year into the relationship, is what I was trying to say. What I did see was interesting, too, that your relationship guides are showing me is Olaf, I'm saying a big hand coming down from him holding yours. And so that can mean that he has really big hands. It can also be symbolic of big support or an ability to sort of lift you. Any time that maybe your energy is dropping or you're having any type of a circumstance that could be trialsome for you, he brings in this energy that is uplifting. We would also be talking about some of the, whether it be karmic dynamics or karmic contracts, the soulmate contract, looking at the work that we have to do together, where in this life, it may even be more of that he uplifts you or gets you to higher ground or offers you opportunities and things like this. In a way, we could say because it's due. So we have another class up on the website called Karma Contracts and Past Lives that may help you to better understand this. And there's a lot going on there. So I forgot what the original question was. What is it? And is it good? Something like that. It looks good to me. I'm sorry. Paul's like scrambling to go back. I can't do anything, can I, Paul? I have one job, right? So, basically the nature of it will be shown in time, but you should already see some signs of what I'm talking about. All right. So there's a lot to do with this for sure.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Okay. We have one from Linda.
Okay.
Who asks, does my mom surely have a message for me?
Well, when she comes in here, she comes through trying to make you laugh, and she comes through laughing. She also wants you to put your chin up, which is not a funny thing. So it's sort of this conflict, so I don't know if sometimes she had a way of being a little bit, I don't know if I want to say inappropriate, but, maybe a little detached. She shows sensitivity in lifting your chin, and that is an obvious symbol for you to keep your head up. And I feel her also putting her hands on the back of your shoulders, which is symbolic of guiding you, but it's also symbolic of giving strength. So she is energizing you. I also, though, do feel this humor, and it's sort of like, don't take everything so seriously, trying to bring in a lighthearted attitude, because through laughter and joy you find peace and healing and elevated energy levels. And so it's sort of like the cure. There may be a lot going on, and one of the best cures is that laughter, and she's getting that out to you. Just know how much she supports you. She also comes and sort of somewhat awkwardly, wraps you in a blanket from the waist down. And whenever I see someone wrapping another person, it's symbolic of love and support. It's also protection. And so if you've had anything going on, from about here down, she would be also keeping an eye on that. All right. Just a ton of love to you. There's also talk of a birthday right around this time. Okay?
Yeah, very good. Kanan had said, thank you so much, Ivy.
You're welcome. Thank you.
Very great. We have one from Portia.
Okay.
Will my financial situation get better soon?
Well, they had written here nuts and bolts, and before you asked, showing me that there are a lot of bits and pieces to this situation. What might be feeling to you, at this point, like a problem or a stagnancy. And my sense here is that some of the nuts and bolts that they were showing me were rusty. And what that's going to mean is that you may need to clear out some old energy. You may need to clear out some of your old obligations or what you were doing or the old system. So whatever it is that you have been doing with your finances, whatever it is that you have been doing with work, let's take a peek here at what is old and stale and no longer profitable, or we could say that there's not a lot of fruition going on there. And you have to understand that if the nuts and bolts aren't together and if they're not strong, then they cannot support the machine, okay? Which is sort of like you and where you're going and your work and your life and your finances and all of that. So we have to have the right pieces. And I think that one of the things that you've been doing is sort of looking at things in a bigger way, or you've been looking at things with a sort of blocked point of view, where it's like, okay, I'm seeing this whole thing, but you're not looking at the detail, and it's in the detail right now. So, I think that there are some changes that need to be made. And then, yes, and then I see this moving, like a finely tuned. It's almost like a wheel, wheels like the inside of a clock or something. This mechanism, and it seems to me that some opportunities might also be coming up for you. So the things that people offer you, pay attention.
Linda said, thank you. That does sound like my mom.
It's pretty funny.
Thank
you.
We have one from Noreen.
Okay.
Who asks, does smelling my late husband Jim's cologne on Saturday have anything to do with me meeting a new date today?
Well, I think that it does. I also think that your abilities are increasing a bit. I think your communication with him is increasing. I think his presence is increasing. And we would call this Claire Augustine. So Claire Augustine, for any of you who get this is a good lesson for everybody. That is the ability to smell certain odors or to taste even something as strong as like the brand of a cigarette, in the smoke itself. So it gets pretty intense. And I think that one of the things he's doing with this is being around more and in more intense ways that you would be able to identify in case. Okay. And so he just sort of jokingly, like, in case. I don't think anything's, really wrong with this date. I just think that he likes to supervise things. Okay, so in the event that he didn't approve of something, or you're overlooking something, or wearing rose-colored glasses or whatnot, you will be smelling and tasting and hearing from him in a very loud way. So a bit, yes, it does have to do with that. He does want to make it clear, though, you have his approval to go. Not that he says something like, not that you would care, or not that you would not go if you didn't have it. Like, you're not the type to be told, how to live your life. But you definitely have his blessing to, get out there.
That's great.
Yeah.
Portia said thank you for
You're
her
welcome.
answer. We have one from Masha.
Okay.
Who's, any information from my guides regarding my relationship with XL?
XL? It's funny because I get a Tony, Anthony or Tony or something too. So you got a couple things going on here. Okay, so does her relationship guide have any information for her current relationship with XL? Let's see. Well, I feel like I'm dealing with someone who is either larger in through here, or that could be symbolic of someone who is kind of a brick wall, I also feel that this person may have some immaturity in a couple different areas where you do not. And sometimes we have a bit of a mismatch there in a relationship where one person is, either very intelligent or has graduated in that area. They're very mature in one area, and then the other person isn't, and it's not a big deal. Other times it is. And it could be that it rubs you the wrong way. Kind of like maybe he's not very quick, or not educating himself enough, or isn't as skilled as you might like to see. And so it's really important that, when something like that happens, we pull back and we say, okay, here's what it is. We have a lot of great stuff going on, and then this is an area that really isn't working for me. And then you need to judge whether or not that's something you can work with, rolling the good in with the bad. Longevity, how long could you tolerate something like that? And how dangerous is it? Because sometimes when people aren't really stepping up, or they're not, let's say they're ignorant in some area or something like this, is that going to be damaging to you in a significant way? Because that's a deal breaker. And I feel like we could work with this. I feel sometimes he's like childlike, and I feel that he's very down to earth in a lot of ways, and that's fun. And then sometimes I see him really stepping up and being very supportive, and it's sort of like this great friendship, and this comfort, and it's a really lovely thing. And I think you're going to have to weigh it out. You know, this isn't something we could tell you is good or bad. You know, it's both. Like any relationship that has potential, it's both. It's cute.
Portia said thank you, unless I already said that.
Yes.
Noreen said thank you.
You're welcome.
And Masha says thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay, we have one here from Michelle.
Okay.
It says, I have a new job opportunity presenting itself with Stephanie Smith. Is this something I should pursue?
From Michelle?
Yes.
Is it something you should pursue? I think that if you were to pursue this, you would definitely have some advantages, 2 in particular, that help you to advance. I can't tell how much it's helping you advance in your career, if it's just helping you advance. Like, let's say right now you're looking for something more simple, like consistent work with higher pay, or, you know, something like that. That's not an advancement in your overall career, but, you know, it's an advancement nonetheless in your life, in your circumstances. So it feels like it's almost more in that vein. I do feel that you might learn some management skills or some leadership skills that could be interesting. I also feel that this person or the company that this person works for is very much about the self. And so it's a little dog eat dog. It's not extremely community oriented. And even if it were presented to be that way, I think that sometimes you see true colors of how a company works, how a business works. Here at the Academy, we're always saying it's light work first, business second, and we will never stray from that. And I think that most businesses do. They don't necessarily look at ethics or, you know, using a moral compass. They look at the dollar sign first, and that's a huge mistake. Could it be happening here? I would not be shocked if that starts coming up pretty early on. Nonetheless, you know, if I were you, it's an opportunity that I would take. I do think, according to your work and money guide, and an older gentleman here who may have had like a gray mustache, he may have shaved this, like a gray, you know, mustache, paternal energy, may have smoked at some point. I feel a pipe, okay, and cherry or something, and a receding hairline here. He says that this is a stepping stone for you. So this really isn't the kind of thing, in his opinion, that you could just overlook and not take. So yeah, I would just not overthink it. Go ahead. Okay.
Very good. All right. We have one from Mindy. I have a question about someone I met online and have been talking to for about a month. I noticed a lot of synchronicity with them and just wondering if there's more info about that. The initials are AB.
I'm feeling that there's something about this person that is not completely upfront. And I think that what would be wise to do is to put together some opportunity to meet. I saw a camera, so FaceTime, Zoom, you know, whatever it is. And you may have done this already, but it feels to me that through that meeting, there is more of a sense of energy. Sometimes when you're reading stuff, it's a little too perfect, you know, or when it can be a little more edited, it's a little too perfect. And I think that face-to-face in whatever way is allowing for more of that on-the-spot raw sincerity. And yeah, as long as that's happening and you feel comfortable with it, you know, then I feel we have some good stuff there. I still do really get a feeling from this person, though, that they're holding way back on some information about either a relationship that they were involved in or are with, and the sincerity there. So we could have some stuff residual from the past, but is still lingering in the energy now. There's something going on. Yeah, that could be a bit of a wake-up call. Keep your cards close to your vest. Have fun.
Good. Carrie says that her friend Kendra passed away suddenly last week. She's shocked and sad. Does she have a message for me, please?
She just wants you to know that she's okay. And she came through with this teddy bear, this little brown teddy bear, and just kind of tossed it at you. And so I feel like you're going to want to pay attention to like stuffed animals, bears in the literal sense. It's also, I feel the way that she's sort of tossing it to you, it's sort of in a playful way. So she's going to be interacting with you playfully and in kind of a childlike manner. It's also symbolic of protection. So whenever I see a bear, I know that it's about love, and it's about, what do we think of when we think of bears? We think of like mother's protection, right? Mother bear killing for her cubs. Kendra says this is what she's sort of doing for you on the other side now, and you would expect to see and hear more from her any time that you need that type of intervention. She's also talking about dreams. She is incredibly good at communication, and one of the things that we talk about a lot here at the Academy is that it is a total myth being taught internationally today that it takes a year to a year and a half for a spirit to be able to communicate. That is complete nonsense, and she is great proof of that. It is also this intensity because she may have left a little sooner than what was planned, and so they tend to bring all that energy along with them. And so she's great at manipulating things like technology, your dreams. Again, she just really wants to focus on those dreams. So I feel like she just kind of covered my mouth. Like, let's just focus on those, okay? So start journaling those out and pay attention. She loves you very much, and she said just, she kind of closed your jacket, just sort of, or like your blouse or your sweater here. She just symbolically kind of closed it around your heart and said it's going to be okay.
Mindy says thank you in the old Handerinos. Yeah, that's a great message. That's very healing. Kartika says, well, first she called us her favorite duo. Very happy about that. She asked, does my grandmother Irma have any messages for me?
She makes me feel like there's some type of a celebration coming up here in like 2, so this could be any time around here, 2 days, 2 weeks. But I felt roses being handed out, okay? And I was also feeling that with for Carrie, Kendra coming through, handing out roses. I have to like losing my shit on that one.
Very nice there for you too.
So what that can mean is that there are other people. There are other people that would receive a lot of healing from you letting them know. Okay, so Carrie from Kendra and Kartika from, what is this? Irma. This is Grandma, right?
Yes.
Okay. And I feel when I'm going over here with Irma, there's talk of, again, it's a celebration, but the celebration reminded me of some type of an anniversary. Okay, so that could be the anniversary of her passing or another type of anniversary coming up here. Like a wedding anniversary. Now, what she's talking about where you're concerned is your teeth. Anytime I'm seeing the teeth be involved, this can mean that you're grinding them. It can also mean that you need to get into the dentist, but I can't prescribe or diagnose. What it usually means is that you have some work change going on, and this would be the same in dream symbology. So it's very possible that your circumstances are shifting and changing. And she says that the way you might be experiencing this is almost like, what's the word I'm looking for? What are those called? It's not an earthquake. It's like when the seismic, what do they call them? They move the plates. What are they called?
A shift?
Yeah, like a shift. Thank you very much. But there's almost like she's showing me the earth and it's like shifts, but you don't fall in. You don't fall into the cracks. It's not making everything tumble down. It's just enough of a shift that you notice the changes and what's going to be called of you, and you want to kind of move through this process rather quickly. So don't waste a lot of time. What I like about watching this is that there is no tumbling. It's not like a huge earthquake. There's no tumbling of your circumstances. So what that's going to mean is that you have a lot of free will in this. Okay, so right now it's time for advancement in your life. She also wants you to not hold yourself back in any way. I was also wondering if there was a situation going on in a relationship, or we could say that you may be noticing a pattern with this in your life, or maybe you're not getting everything back that you're deserving of. Okay, so make sure you, how do we want to say this? you can't get back what you didn't ask for sometimes, okay? Not everyone is in tune to what you need or want. Not everyone is like psychic or telepathic, she says. And while grandma may know what you need or you want, other people don't. And other people can be very self-absorbed, and sometimes they're not intentionally doing that. So it's up to you to know what you need and want in a situation or what isn't being delivered, and then to say it and then see what they're capable of giving, okay? So be mindful of that.
Carrie said, thank you so much. I'm crying here from that message. Very healing. You're
welcome.
Texas Girl in VA says seismic shifts, and Bernadette says tectonic plates.
Yes. Yes.
So, thank you, everybody.
Yes, yes.
It's
a very odd symbol. I've never seen that before.
Yeah.
It's pretty cool.
New one to add.
Add that to the base.
Yeah.
Yeah. Seismic shifts, yeah.
I have to go over that in class. All right, we have one from Unicorn Kisses. Simple. When will my guy show up?
Well, I actually feel you going more to your guy than him coming to you. So looks like we're looking over here to the future in a destiny charted way, which is nice. That means that it's fixed and it cannot be manipulated. And there's not a ton to do other than allow your life to play out. But I see this person being at a standstill. I see this person being kind of stationary and stuck in such a way where he may not be able to come to you. So this could end up being, I also keep hearing Chicago or something with the C or K sound in it. So this could be about atmosphere. This could be about location. This may also be a little bit due to life circumstances. So we would say that this partner is in a position in his life at that time where he literally cannot leave. He is in a situation where he has to have nose to the grind, do the work he's there to do, and you're going to be more pliable at that time. And so it's very possible that you might be willing to be fluid and go and check it out. And I feel this happening within the next 2 years, meaning that at that point it would be stabilized. Okay, so it'll probably come in sooner than that. But this individual definitely seems to me to be a communicator. Reminds me a lot of old Polly Pants over here. Of Paul, in the way that Paul can sort of talk to anybody and is trustworthy, and people feel that off of his energy. So it puts him in a unique position where he could be good at sales or anything like that. But I do feel this person being ethical, trustworthy, and very caring, very also connected to you telepathically, like finishing each other's sentences. So like he knows what you're thinking, he knows what you're feeling, and he's not running from that. So this is good. This is good.
Very good. Love hearing that.
Right?
Katika says thank you with a very big heart there.
You're welcome.
We have one from Leslie.
Okay.
Said, I recently quit my job at NCC. Did I make the right decision? Will I find something else soon?
Yeah, you made the right decision, and you'll find something else soon. They keep giving me 2. That could be 2 days. That could be 2 weeks. I don't think it will take as long as 2 months, but just in case. There is some free will involved in this, so there's a little wiggle room, which is not always what we want to hear, right? I wish I could just tell you, 3 days out from now, you're going to get a call and it's all going to work out. It's a little more complicated than that. So there are some hands in the pot. That means that situations can be manipulated by you, by others, by time, by circumstance. And what this is meaning is that I can't give a 100% guarantee on exactly when, but I can talk about the destiny charted parts of it because those are fixed. And what I feel with it is that it is a guaranteed position that is yours. When exactly? I'm not sure, because there are 3 different people involved, and one is the issue. There's one person who's literally in the way, and this person would kind of be like, someone who can't make a decision, or someone who likes to have the clock stop on their watch, or whatever they say. I don't know what I'm trying to say here, but it's sort of like I'm the only one who knows what I'm trying to say. They like to have control, and sometimes when people like to have that kind of control, it's like paperwork gets left on their desk, or everyone's waiting on them, or, that's the person who doesn't communicate well in the meeting, and everyone has to be like, what, huh? Give all their attention, and they So there's something with this person that is just like, they're always in the way, but they have enough of a power position, they can't be removed. So I think that if you were to be looking within the field that you were just working in, there is talk of information going in and out. And it would be a sense of you moving into something like management, okay? And sort of dictating your own schedule to a degree. Yeah, I think it's good. I think it's coming. And I think you need to just keep applying. I am also seeing a brick building. I don't know how often you're really going to have to be there, okay?
Very cool.
A lot of information, almost like transcribing. Okay.
Bernadette said, Polly Pants, you're hysterical. It's the best nickname she's heard in a while. And, very cute.
You can add pants to any nickname, and it's cute.
That's right.
That's right.
And Celeste says that you remind me of Patty Jenkins.
Who's that?
I don't know, but
The
she said
singer?
badass woman energy. So
I love it. I'm going to Google that later.
That's right.
Patty Jenkins.
So we do actually have one from Celeste.
Okay.
Who asks, how does M feel for me?
I feel like this person has feelings for you, but there's almost a sense of not being able to express it, or maybe I'm not supposed to express it. And so there's a lot of inhibition there. There's also a sense of saying it, and when it does come out, it comes out in a sort of either sugar-coated or overwhelming way where it could seem like it's a little too much. So I feel fluctuations here, and you may be receiving it, but also wondering if there's something else sort of going on behind the scenes. So the energy is not entirely a match with the thoughts that I'm having versus what I'm giving, or vice versa. And at any point, that could sort of change. So it's a little, I don't want to say Jekyll and Hyde, I don't think it's that bad, but I do see a little bit of like yin-yang, light and dark, and it reminds me of the mayor, the mayor on what is that, Halloween, The Nightmare Before Christmas, and the mayor's head turns. And sometimes it's very outward and very friendly and very social, and other times it's like kind of, nervous and tense and kind of angry. So I think that while there is affection for you, I also think it's really important that you don't like feed any of that. You're just sort of like, oh, the way I am, I just like for everything to be up front. Let's just be totally honest and clear in communication. And I feel you having some hesitancy with that also. Okay, so this is a type of relationship dynamic where we want to step up and put everything out on the table so that we're not wasting a ton of time. Mm-hmm.
Patty Jenkins is the director of Wonder Woman.
Oh, interesting. Love it.
That's right. Leslie said, thank you so much. Unicorn Kisses says, thank you so much.
You're
Loves
welcome.
the show. 2 years. I'm tired of waiting.
Yeah, it won't take that long.
And Celeste said, thank you so much. Lovely. Woo.
welcome.
And yes, he can be awkward and shy.
Yeah, there's something there.
Yeah.
There's nothing wrong with being awkward and shy sometimes. It's just that, if it's going to get to a place with intimacy, I'm not talking sexual intimacy per se, but just with intimacy, sometimes when you have that back and forth, it could be a lot more work for you to be patient and to know also when to say, you know what, this is kind of a deal breaker for me because I'm not responsible for you being comfortable with intimacy. So we'll see what he can do with it. I feel potential. Yeah.
Very good. Patron Bernadette has a question.
Okay.
Is CS lying to me?
Yes.
Ooh. Dang.
Not just you. A whole lot of people. Yeah, I feel lying. I don't know why I feel a need to clarify this, but because it's inexcusable. But, some people lie to manipulate and get what they want. And some people lie to avoid being seen in a different way. So they need this ego stroke or this ego boost. So this person may have self-esteem issues. And because of those self-esteem issues, a lack of confidence in being able to get what you're worthy of getting in the world from others or earning it the real way, the hard way, with integrity, this person may need to fill that void or fill that space. And so is it a vindictive, manipulative attempt at coercing you, into something else? Not as much. Even though that would be a side effect, I don't feel like that's ultimately the goal. I think that it's like self-preservation, almost like a vampire. When I refer to certain people as being vampires, they just suck the life right out of you and the energy. And when they don't want to blatantly do that, they find little manipulative ways to do it. And I feel like you are quite you can bring, confidence. This person likes to keep you looking at them in a positive light. Confidence.
Cool. We have one from Haydy, Hayddy. Says, I've been feeling kind of lost in the shuffle. Is there a message or a path for me?
Well, lost in the shuffle. I feel sort of a cloudiness in your thinking, and so I don't know that you're being lost in the shuffle as much as your sense of direction is not very precise. You also have a lot going on through the heart chakra, and your joy guide, who's also your spiritual development guide, shows it like you were a clown at the circus, and you were like pulling out all these scarves, and it's just like endless, like different colors of scarves, and it just keeps going and going. I see you being split in a couple different directions, because some of the scarves are going this way and some are going this way. So you may have a circumstance in your life or a general life theme where you're feeling pulled in two different ways. You feel pulled with your personality, pulled with your destiny. And my sense here is that one could be a little more non-conventional and one would be very traditional. And you want to stray from that tradition. So what your guide is showing me here is that you're cleansing out and needing to be more aware of how much you're actually cleansing out in your heart right now. And if you don't feel like you've been doing that work, know that you might be avoiding it a little bit. So there's some stuff that you're definitely letting go of that has become like an anchor, or chains around your ankles holding you back from walking and getting free and moving forward or flying. And so process, what are the lessons in my life right now? What has been going on, especially for the last year and a half to 2 years, in particular, too, they mentioned the last 8 months. What has been going on where you have had opportunities to process old, stale ways of thinking or living or relationships and start freeing yourself up a bit more. I feel that there's a lot of passion in you to heal others. And after this last part of the process of sort of healing yourself is wrapped up a little bit more, you're going to have more opportunity to get your hands dirty and working with other people. So it's coming.
Bernadette said, you're freaking her out. So true, so true. And thank you. You're in my head, Ivy. It's crazy how you read me like a bestseller.
Thank you, Bernadette.
We have one from Brandy.
Okay.
Says, after a bad relationship, I moved back in with my mom, Cheryl Lee. I am triggered by her constantly, and I see some narcissistic behaviors in her. Can you give me advice on whether or not to work on our relationship?
No. So the minute, while Paul was reading that off, I was just, it took everything in me to not be like, oh my God. It made me very uncomfortable, and it made me really, really anxious. And that level of anxiety, that level of discomfort, that sort of sick feeling, that haunting sort of toll that it takes on your spirit, that is so toxic that you have to be able to look at some people, even if they are family, even if they are your parents or your kids, and you have to say, whoa, this is beyond anything I can really assist with. This is going to require professional, clinical intervention or something. And I think, or not, either way, it's not your problem. And I think that when you're being so stripped, that it becomes dangerous to your well-being, your happiness, and your prosperity, you gotta hit the bricks. And this is one of those relationships that you can get free from in this life. Not to say you're going to cut off your mom, never deal with her again, but to say that you could get free from the karmic lessons in it, or you can do some cord cutting, and you can wrap up that contract. Will she wrap up her end of it? I'm not so sure. And that's another sign that you should not be investing anymore in it. You need to invest in your part in it. So if you have not watched already the Relationships, Boundaries, and Cord Cutting class, check that one out. And I would highly recommend Karma Contracts and Past Lives class. You have to understand where the boundary line is drawn, and you are not to cross that. I'm not sure what all the circumstances were going on at the time of this breakup, but I'm pretty surprised that you went back there, regardless, and I think that this is the last wake-up call for you. Everything that you said is accurate. I'm just validating that in case you second-guess yourself on a lot of things. Not on the big stuff, but on the little stuff, you definitely second-guess yourself. You're like, well, maybe I'm overreacting, or, no, that's also pretty bad. When you take an accumulation of all the little petty, narcissistic, controlling, manipulative things that people do, when you look at those in little ways, you have to understand that's part of a much bigger plan and picture. And it may not be dangerous, to be fighting and bickering over something like a cereal box, but does that ultimately break down your self-confidence and attack you when you need support the most, and on the big days when it really counts? Oh, absolutely. So the little things do count. The little things are supposed to be the triggers and the warnings to show you how to go on your way. Shouldn't have to get that big. Yeah, protect yourself.
That's great advice. Roxanne says that while I was sleeping, I had this dream of having severe chest pain and I could not breathe. I was sure I was dying. This seemed so very real to me. Was this a dream or another energy, or?
Well, we have a couple things that it could be, and I'll start with the nicer one. It's called astral travel, and you'll want to take the dreams class. I talk about both of these and a bunch of other things in the dreams class up on the website. Astral travel is where you leave your body and you travel to other dimensions, and when you come back in, it can cause sleep paralysis and sleep apnea. So a lot of people who need the breathing mask, and they have a lot of terror, honestly, because it's very uncomfortable to not be able to control your body and to have your breath taken away. But astral travel is something that people commonly do as they become more evolved. And if you were to ever have like a serious illness or injury or near-death experience or anything like this, those people tend to do it all the time. It can be very uncomfortable. However, it has huge potential, huge opportunity for expansion and healing within the universe and all kinds of things. So it's something to learn about. There's one other thing, though, and that's called old hag syndrome. Old hag syndrome is considered this old, nasty-looking witch thing. I wish we had a picture to pop up. Maybe when you redo this video, you can put a picture of old hag up here. Old hag is always pretty much pictured the same, and we have drawings and images going back, 1300s, 1400s. It's this spirit that sits on your chest and sucks your energy out. And that may sound nuts, but I do believe in it, and I've seen it. It's not hard to get rid of. I would recommend the Hauntings, Clearings, and Detachments class to teach you how to cleanse, where you could book a paranormal consultation with me. If you have trouble maybe getting rid of it yourself. But the idea with old hag is that she's an energy feeder, and that's really no different than what a lot of other, humans are living even. So it's the type of thing that you have to get rid of. You have to tell her to go. Now, what I can appreciate about this situation is that it will go. It also won't go very far. So it'll kind of go to someone else in the house, to your neighbors, or, down the hall. So we need to put our foot down and learn healthy boundary setting, because whether it's astral travel and you don't want to be going, you can learn through lucid dreaming techniques to control that more. If it's old hag, you could do that. Also cleansing through boundary setting, and boundaries are just the kind of thing that have to be maintained. So, sometimes it's not a first time reversal. Repetition is key. Okay.
All right. Brandy said that thank you so much, and while you were giving the reading, she posted that she just felt that. We'll reaction. That was the one about the knock.
Oh, for Ma?
Yeah.
Good. You're welcome. Good for you.
Just getting good support in the feed, too.
Good.
Yep,
Good.
Everybody stick together.
That's tough.
That's,
narcissistic parents. It's tough.
Yep. Okay, we have one from Texas Girl in VA.
Okay.
My former teacher and friend passed away early last month. Her initials are JT. Does she have any messages for me? I wonder sometimes if I did enough to stay in touch.
She makes me feel like she was here early. And so she says, I've been here. I'm not saying she necessarily led you to the show, but I do definitely feel like she was sort of waiting in line to speak. And so she's got some kind of manipulation going on here tonight. And so she's good at it. Okay, so she just says she's pretty fancy, huh? I think it is. She's definitely the kind of person you want to have in your corner. When you said teacher, she lit up, you know. So I don't know if you said teacher, you said mentor, or what, but I felt very much like she really enjoyed having that position with you, because she said that you're really worthy of everything, that you're really such a beautiful soul. You have such a beautiful heart, and you're such a healer for others, that you're deserving of whatever it is that you want or need. And she said, I was blessed to have the time with you that I did, and I'm blessed that we still have this relationship, more like a friendship at this point, and that she likes to give you whatever it is that you need to get up to the next level, and she's actually fairly focused on that. In regards to like your work, your career, your speaking out, your communications, you know, whatever this is that you've been doing. She keeps saying 3, so this could have been the last like 3 months. This could also be continuing here for a little while. And I think that you would have heard her around. She says that she rings your ears. So a lot of people get this like a tinnitus, like a ringing in the ears or a feeling of pressure in the ears, and then she puts thoughts in your head. Okay, so I posted something today on Facebook where I said, don't believe everything you think, you know. And while that was sort of a menacing look, it was also connected to clairaudient ability, which is the ability to have, spirits put thoughts in your head. And we all have it. She has it to a heightened degree. You have it to a heightened degree. So we have a match in communication. She said we have to wrap this up. But I don't know if there was something wrong. I can't tell if there's a tube going down my throat, or if I had almost like a bile or something coming up. There's something wrong with my throat. The communication probably would not have been there anyways. And she said, you don't worry about things like that, okay? We have lives, we're busy. Love is love, and love is timeless, okay? She always felt that cord, that bond with you, always. She said she hears you when you think of her or when you talk to her in your head. Okay, a lot of telepathy going on between you two. Clairaudience and telepathy. Okay, ton of love.
Very cool. Roxanne said that, yeah, she's had a few episodes like this, more than a few. Very uncomfortable and scary. Thank you, Ivy. I definitely need class time. Very good. Natasha says, I want to know if I should publicly start doing tarot readings.
I think so.
I am a teacher and I don't want it to conflict with my career.
Can't care about that anymore. Okay? I didn't want to be worked almost a decade from my journalism degree and then to have Spirit tell me I had to come out publicly and whatever. You know what? This is the thing. We have to create change. We have to normalize intuition. We have to get back in touch with our roots. And if lightworkers are going to step up now, when? So yes, 100%.
Good.
I would love to see them try. Also, with the economy and the state of these schools, I would love to see them give you trouble right now as a teacher, as an educator. No time like the present, sister. I mean, step out and do it. No. Serve the light. Yes. And when we step out in blind faith, for the rest of you, whether you're a lawyer, you're a therapist, you're a teacher, whatever the circumstances, you're in, journalism, anything where there's a really strict, line that you're never to cross. I think that we are uniquely called to do things like this because we hold somehow more validity. We give a higher credit to the lost language and the healing, of psychic mediumship. It's huge and it's time. It's overdue.
Very good. Texas girl said, "Thank you. You hit the nail on the head in so many ways."
And you're good at it. So, like, you know.
This feed is great tonight. Everyone's, supporting each other, and it's really awesome. It's great to see.
Love it.
Yeah. You got another one in you?
Yeah, we do a couple more.
Okay. We have one from TK.
Okay.
It says, in terms of love, is Michael someone I should be exploring an opportunity with, or do you see someone else for me?
Someone else. I think that Michael has some lessons, and I feel that the availability. Let's put it this way: we don't want to choose people that are unavailable, even if it's enticing, even if it's romantic or passionate or whatever. We don't want to choose and waste our time with people that are not available in the long haul. And I think that you know that. I think that you've had enough red flags or warnings to understand that truth. But there is someone else. There are, a few other people that I feel you may have to work with. And when I talk about reaching the one, or I have a class up on the website called Reaching the One, literally, when people ask me, is this the one? When will the one show up? I'm not dating anymore until the one shows up. When that type of thinking starts to occur, we'll take people that are unavailable or inappropriate, and we'll try to twist them into being the one. And then, and energy doesn't lie. So even though you're not saying that, I do feel that you're kind of looking for that one specific person. So I just want to put this out there. There are two other people that you may have to sort of go through before we can really have that right person. And these people would not be in it for the long haul, or you would choose to not be in it for the long haul with them, most likely. But it would help you to evolve and get away from some things that haven't worked for you in the past that you may still carry and have lingering in your energy. So we want to clear out a bit of your throat chakra. We want to have better communication. We want you to have a better understanding about what it is that you need and want. Communicate that out properly, but not from a place of any kind of victimhood. Some things that need to be worked out. So ultimately, the one that I see working with is a soulmate connection that can work in the day-to-day. And I think that this could be happening over the course of the next, anywhere, they said 3 years, and then they just backed it way up. So this means there's free will on timeline, anywhere from 1.5 to 3 years. It's going to depend on what happens with these other people and whether or not you learn these lessons. Yeah, good things. Hard work. The two of you come together and there's like hard work. This could be business ownership. This could be collective, like you put it's like a think tank. It's reminds me of the way Paul and I work together. It's like projects, like project after project after project. There's some really good teamwork going on there with that relationship. You will notice that is missing in the other ones. Okay. The other ones are like pulling teeth. Yeah.
Natasha said, thank you. She appreciates you, Ivy, and you inspire her.
Beautiful. Thank you.
Yeah, and then a bunch of compliments. You're fantastic. And Bernadette says, she can't tell enough people about you. You don't pull any punches.
I try not to.
These days, the more we read into another heart, that is needed. Lead the way.
Yeah.
So, very good stuff.
Thank you.
What a loving moment tonight. Everybody's great. This is fantastic.
It is. I know. I look forward to going through this feed later.
Yeah. TK said thank you for your continuous guidance.
You're welcome.
All right. We have one from Alice.
Okay.
Says that over the past few weeks, she's been woken up between 3 and 4 a.m.
Yes.
Suddenly shivering, feeling cold. Not quite disoriented, but like I had a rush of energy.
Oh.
Happens a couple times a week. Is this anything?
Between 3 and 4?
Yep.
A rush of energy. Well, before you asked that, I got a very intense pressure in my ears and down in my neck. And what that can sometimes mean is that, let's put it this way. When your mediumistic abilities are kicking up, and right now we have a lot of activators planetarily, we have activators in the world, we have activators that are coming from others around us, there's just a lot. And so one of the things that can happen is that you have a light, above your head that says like, I'm a medium, and your light gets turned on. When that happens, typically between 3 and 5:30 in the morning, known as the haunting hour, we will receive many, many visits from spirits that we would like to receive visits from and spirits we would not like to receive visits from. Those that are coming in being menacing in any way or trying to take your energy would create a pressure, and you may feel that here, you may feel that here. And one of the other things that can happen is that these spirits are trying to put downloads into you. We have a free mini class called Receiving the Download. Didn't we just put that up on the playlist? Yep. We just polished it up a little bit and put it up on the playlist. So the playlist is where Paul organized, thank God, all of the free mini classes that I've been doing since the quarantine started. And one of them is called Receiving the Download, and that is how you can have a manic reaction, restless leg syndrome. It could seem like, some type of mania. It can actually last for sometimes up to 3 or 4 months. And a lot of people get misdiagnosed. I cannot prescribe a diagnosis. A lot of people get misdiagnosed during that time with things like manic depression or anxiety disorders. And what can happen is that when the download is put into you, it can cause almost like a jumping of energy from usually the top, the crown chakra, down to your feet, back up again, down to your feet, back up again. We will see a change in body temperature for sure. A change also in how much sleep you actually need. So you may be waking up and be like, I didn't really sleep much at all, but you have a lot of energy. You may also change your eating habits. So we could see a decrease in appetite. It could look like a manic episode. Only it's not unhealthy and you're not deteriorating. You have received direction. I would watch that class, but I would also take very seriously the fact that this goes hand in hand with an increase in mediumistic or healing abilities, and you really would be best off to learn the language at this time, because you have to put your foot down. Just because you have mediumistic abilities does not mean that you're trying to do readings all the time, and so we have to tell them, whether they're negative or positive spirits, we have to tell them, now is my sacred time. This is my sacred space, and not right now, especially between 3 and 5:30 a.m. And that goes for everybody, though. Okay.
Yeah, that one was getting a lot of responses, a lot of people chiming in, and that this was happening to them. And it does bring up a point, too, that both Bernadette and Texas Girl had pointed out, is how much they're learning tonight from other people's reading. And that just goes to show that, pay attention, and you get... you can take in so much when you're not even expecting it.
Right. Well, and that's how we do things at the Academy. Everything is in a learning community, because you cannot learn psychic, empathic, or mediumistic development in a vacuum. You can't just get a book or do it. You need to learn off the brain patterns of others and their experiences, and it just speeds up the whole process. So again, hope to see you guys for Psychic Mediumship Development course starting October 7th. That's for Pathway 2. And if you want to do Pathway 1, which is just the video downloads, you could do that anytime. Okay, limited seating. Your horoscopes, again, are going up at around 1:30, 2 o'clock in the afternoon. I appreciate your subscriptions, and please hit that bell for alerts when they do go up or when I go live. I just love you guys. It was such a pleasure tonight, and thank you, Polly.
You're very welcome. Thank you.
Spirit.
Thanks, everybody.
Have a great week. See you next Monday.